Hello, this is Fabian again with Amandla of Umgwamanda Foundation, Family and Youth Services. This is a continuance of the intro video about our programs, and we're just going to be going into detail on how we implement the programs. I got some notes on my side that I'll be reading to re-jog my memory, all the notes that I wrote down. This intro video is about dealing with the intro approach with the family and the youth, but mainly the youth, because right now we're mainly focused on the youth themselves, and how to deal with more difficult individuals, youths that are in the marginalized communities. You know, some of the youths come from a gang background. They come from a very private background that they don't like to discuss their issues or open up whatsoever. So we're dealing with the individuals who just need an outlook and the individuals who have a rougher time expressing themselves. And due to their environment, it hinders them. The A.O.U Foundation uses a family and clinical approach to the youth to first understand their situations. So this program understands the environments of gangs, drugs, poor imagery. It could be from video games, from TV, from your environment of just looking at this, all the way to a family, thing, issues that that is hindering them on large aspects. So we like to get a background the situation in thorough. Some of them are just as simple as, hey, this needs a place where they can have role models and productive services to express themselves, and it's all good. And then on the other hand, there's the other part, the other youth that has behavioral issues stemming from lack of family interaction, lack of family being present, lack of positive role models, lack of resources to express themselves, and they go off to gangs, and or they just hinder themselves by continuously watching junk television, poor programs that they watch, these violent video games, music that isn't so suitable for their development, and it just affects their brain, and and leads them to doing other things. Okay, moving on. After we come to the conclusion that what is the appropriate time of assessment to gather information on the family and the youth, which can go from 1 week to 4 weeks. We're just not trying to interact with somebody we don't know. It's better to understand their family background, understand their family environment, from the non-severe to the most severe. Because this program, we want for the individuals that are already established there. We don't want someone that we don't know fully and really don't know that much history about to be incorporated with the program and interfere with the program. So we can go from 1 week to 4 weeks, 4 weeks being the most extensive assessment, and spending time with the family and getting to know them too. So that would be that, always from a holistic perspective. This foundation is just as open with the family and the youth as it is with the community. We're open door. Any type of reasonable issues that are introduced to us, we have no issue addressing or communicating or establishing dialogue over. Even with the youth itself, we want to treat them this as reasonable and with as much respect as we would with anyone. We understand that some of the youths have lived in a not so productive way of life due to this reason, which have not fully affected them. This is going on to the point that, you know, some of these youths have no problem with continuously implementing their current behavior due to it's not really hindering them in their youth, because, you know, some people, it overlooks it. Okay, they're a child right now, and you know what, you know, but it's a habit that is being continuously perpetuated without any real consequence at the time due to their youthful age. And a lot of youths continue these behaviors well into their adulthood, and that's when it hits. It's zero tolerance for it. It's zero empathy for it, because hey, you're an adult now. You know, you're looked upon as an adult. You're supposed to be of adult mind. You're supposed to be of adult stature, and you're supposed to have movement as a productive adult in the society and in your community. But due to no one or no family or community interventions into the youth in their youthful age, the behavior has continued without consequences. So we're trying to suspend or expel that behavior. We need the youth to understand that, hey, this behavior, yes, right now is not hindering you fully. It's probably just a tad bit a nuisance when somebody is redirecting you about this, but you're not really, you know, going thoroughly trying to rectify the behavior. You know, slap on a wrist, basically. And we want the youth to get out of this mindset that, hey, it's okay for them to do stuff like this in their youth, and it's okay for them to go into their adulthood and do it. So that's another aspect that we want to change. So that's the holistic approach of the program. So the reason why some of the marginalized act out or express themselves in less than productive manners for the community or for their own life could be the family not having. Now this is a continuance. I had to pause the video. You know, again, I'm only making these videos for the A.O.U services is the only reason. So I'm a little new at this, so I let's stumble a little. But to continue from my last point is some of the key figures that the marginalized youth lack. You know, i.e. the mother, the father, dual, a positive, you know, family members. You know, it can hinder them to a large scale, because, you know, not only are you watching or letting imagery come into your psyche that's hindering you because of the violence, drug use, the glorifying negative things, you know, that's affecting you too. And in your home environment, the same thing that you watch is a direct continuance to that, because some of your family members are continuing that type of behavior as well. So it's like a comforting thing, even though I might understand or have a sense that, hey, something's wrong here. Everywhere that I'm looking, I'm seeing the same thing. So it becomes a norm, we'll see, to see unproductive behavior. So it warps your mind a little bit. So we want to establish that with the youth too. So I'm going to read this a little bit too. And another thing that's a huge thing, it's a little off topic, but it's similar to it, is nutrition. A lot of the marginalized youth in these communities have poor nutrition, whether it's, you know, they don't. All right, now continuing the food issue. Now, food issues, behavioral issues can, you know, result in food mood disorders and changes. You know, you can have a child who has anger problems that stem from food. You know, they're hungry, you know, or they're eating too many low nutrient, highly processed foods that in result affects their psyche, their mind. It affects them. Like, it affects how they move. It affects how they interact with people, and it affects their behavior in a whole perspective. Um, there was this school out in Wisconsin called Appleton High, and it was alternative behavioral school for the high school. So they had a normal high school, and Appleton High was the alternative high school. So in the first year that they implemented the program, they took all the children from the regular high school that had behavioral issues, defiant, fighting, just very behavioral, and they brought them to the school. Now, the first 2 or 3 years, everything that the students came with happened at the school: drug use, fighting, violence, defiancy, and all this. It's just in one place. Now, they even had to hire a on-duty cop for the school because of the violence. Now, the next year, they implemented a program, a nutrition program for the children's breakfast and lunch. And they did it from an organic perspective. They got a lot of organic salads, a lot of nutrient-rich foods. They took out all the sodas, the candies, the processed foods, and they got rid of them. And they implemented a nutrition diet for the school. And within the first year of implementing this program, complete 160, 180. Completely 180. 180 from what the norm was at the school. Less fighting, less drug use, less unproductive behavioral issues. It was basically, wow, these children have just transformed into a completely different individual. And the only thing that was changed was their diet. That's it. So that means a lot. Diet and nutrition means a lot of things. They had a report on the school that every year that they had to submit a form to the state of saying, all the incidents that occurred in the school year. How many suicides, how many fights, how many possessions of drug paraphernalia, how many weapons were brought to the school, how many arrests, yada yada yada. And after implementing this program within a year, it was 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. They even interviewed some of the students there, and they said, "Hey, we noticed a large, change in our behavior since this program was implemented, and they have become some of the role models for the new students who attend this alternative school at Appleton High. We have a nutrition program. Like, they're the spokespersons for this program. So I thought that was very good, and this is common sense. This stuff affects you greatly. So change the page. Got one more page to do. Going back on topic now. After the Amandla of Umgwamanda completes a full assessment, we come together as a team to specify a holistic plan for the youth. The team is made up of team members who are in the field of physical education, occupational therapists, behavioral coach, and nutritionists who can develop a dietary plan to at least implement while the youths are within the program. And we can, give the parents, and the family members the information to help them implement the diets in their own personal lives. So we want to do that, teach all family that. And positive role models. We have positive role models that interact in the foundation. So, and we have thorough, again, we hold everyone who um, is incorporated with this program to very high standards. We have zero tolerance for unethical behavioral ness in this foundation. You know, you got to be very ethical. You got to come from um, a true intent. You got to have a good heart. You got to be able to implement the programs. You just can't be there. Everybody has a specific task and a section or sector that they can implement appropriately to the utmost. You know, not everybody is completely 360 well-rounded, and we understand that. And some individuals do very good in specific tasks. You know, so that's what we're going. If you can't do it, the whole thing, we have a slot for you. You know, you can do some things. What that may be, it varies. And we after coming up with the assessment plan of what this individual needs for their specific holistic plan, we go over it and make sure everything, all the T's are crossed and all the I's are dotted on it. And then we bring it to the family so we can review it together. And if they have any concerns or any input, that would be the time where we could, you know, come together and have dialogue amongst everybody. And the child and the youth is included within this. You know, we can't leave them out because they might be like, hey, could y'all incorporate this? You know, anything that our resources can accommodate within a reasonable manner, we're more than welcome to welcome. You know, so especially it gives the child, you know, a little bit of enthusiasm, you know, when they say, you know, I'm being incorporated with this, it's about me, and you know, this specific plan is about them, you know. So it might, you know, hey, they might want to try a little bit harder. You know, people are really starting to care, you know, if that's all they even need, like somebody who just cared about them, you know, and it could, you know, translate to the family, you know. Once everything is completed, it is time for the follow-through. For this part, the youth will be in a group setting. Now, due to this group setting, because we cannot get as much done in this singular aspect, so we're going to have group. It might be, you know, this individual might be in a group of 6, 12, you know, and so on, that are manageable. You know, nothing that we can't manage. And they might be able to work on their specific aspect in their assessment plan in a group setting or in a small group setting. We'll accommodate that to help them grow, you know, to any reasonable consideration or extent. And some things might just be, you know, in a singular perspective. You know, it's a one-on-one type thing that they're working on, and to break down the boundaries, you know, we're going to interact with them on a one-on-one basis, you know, so we can get from the one-on-one to a few to the total group. So that's what we want to do, and it's just a process, and it's just the steps. The program that is developed for the youth is done in a way that the youth and A.O.U. can live up to, and will be done in steps. We have expectations for ourselves again, and for the individuals who interact with us as well. Everyone has certain standards that that will be adhered to in an organization, because when we hold a common ground, we all understand that this is what we are going to rely on. This is what we are based in. You know, this is what the program and the holistic aspect is based on. So that's what we want to implement to the youth, and that's what we're going to get done. So this has been a video, part 1 of an onslaught of videos that will be produced to better inform the community of the program and services that we offer, family and youth services, all about true intent, coming from a holistic aspect, and doing things that work and doing them to get the most productivity out of the community in a whole. So this is another video for A.O.U, Amandla Of Umgwamanda. You can reach us for questions or any concerns or anything like that at the website, same name, .com, and you'll be right there. You can check out some resources that we have up there, and some videos. All the videos are going to be posted on there too, so you don't have to come to YouTube all the time. You can just go to the website and check it out. Always love, power, respect. Until next time,